What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with a vintage Kenner Star Wars market update. We've got mainly mint on cards for this video. I'm still under the weather. My wife got me sick, so I'm going to be sniffling and coughing through this video. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time. A few mint and sealed box items, I believe, if not multiple, definitely one that is really nice. And some of the prices and some of the items in this video are really cool. Some stuff that we haven't seen in a little bit. And I appreciate everyone that watches the channel. And as the filming of this video and when it's going to be likely released, I want to say thanks to those of you who watched the live stream. Beautiful items that Chris showed us in the live stream. And hopefully some of you guys can add some of those to your collection. Make sure to join Rogue 5 Toys for all of the sales. They are well underway by the time this video airs. And wow, just an incredible batch, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to pick up some true grails for your collection. So let's dig in. We've got some early 12-backs that sold, and 12-back A's, B's, and C's for this video. The first one is that 12-back A Darth Vader that I had in the What to Buy video a couple weeks ago. And it was not graded, but it was labeled in the auction title as card 85, blister 85, figure 80. And I agreed, as I told you, with all of these subgrades because this was a stunner. Absolutely beautiful, unpunched example of Darth Vader 12-back A. And it sold in an auction for $26.22, which I know that seems like a lot of money, but you got to remember what this is. A 12-back A Vader. I mean, this is a truly, a really nice early card back from the Kenner line, and $26.22 I think is very, very fair for that item. The same seller also had the 12-back B Chewbacca. This was a punched example, but the card was listed as estimated grade of 85, blister 75 because of one little tiny ding on the top. And again, you know, these grades I think were very fair for what it was. You know, you can see that one little ding there that would probably lower it, quite honestly, into a 75 grade, especially if AFA is grading it. They grade them pretty harsh. And the bowcaster had fallen out of Chewbacca's hand, so that means the figure score would be an 80, as it's appropriately labeled. $11.25 on this 12-back B. Again, another very fair price, just given how beautiful the condition on that one was. Next up, I've got two different Sand People that sold, first a 12-back A and then a 12-back C, both of them graded, and you can see the slight price difference. This one only had one bid. It sold at $11.38. It was an AFA 75 plus, card 75, blister 80, figure 75. I'm assuming it's because of the light kind of frosting on the hand there that signifies that this figure has got some mold or something going on the figure there, and it looks like it's got a scratch or two on the actual figure. I don't know if that's part of the mold or a short pour or what, but pretty nice looking example though. And the photos were not great on this one, but it was a punched example and a little bit of card wave, but nothing too bad. One little crease on the back there. That's the main reason why I got the 75 grade for the card subscore. But AFA 75 plus 12-back A again. Sand People, one bid, $11.38 plus $14.50 shipping. And then here is the 12-back C. That was AFA 75. This one was an unpunched example. Card 80, blister 85, figure 70. So, you know, you can see there the common problem with Tusken Raiders inside the blister is that they can, you know, degrade like that. And it's a shame that that happened, but very appropriately labeled a 70 grade at best for that Tusken Raider. So pretty beautiful example. Otherwise, it's just from a display perspective, that cape really, you know, looks like it looks like the Tusken Raider was grilling out with his other little Tusken Raider family friends, and he got a little bit too close to the grill, and as a result, he got burned. So that AFA 75 did get $8.10 for the final sales price on that. 24 bids that closed on September 8th. And this one was a really cool one. If it was a higher grade, I would have been really tempted to bid on this because this was a unique item and something I've never seen before for an early card back. This one was an upside down back. And you can see there, it looks normal on the front, but on the back, the card was printed upside down. So very interesting factory error there. And so it's just something that I've never seen before. Even for an early card back. So this one was a 20-back I upside down back, AFA 70. So the subgrades, if I can find it here, the subgrades were 70. Well, let's see if we can get, there we go. Better example. 70 for the card, blister 75, figure 80. And, it displays better than a 70. But this one's, the starting bid price was $900 and the final sales price was $930. I think if it was an AFA 80, I probably would have gone up to about $1,200 on that one. That's a really cool item, but I decided I've got too many other kind of stokes in the fire, so to speak. So I'm trying to pull off a couple of transactions here soon, and I just couldn't make it work with the timing. But that was a very cool item. I would love to have had that for my R5 D4 collection, because that one is on my goal list for next year, is to get an early 20 back R5 D4, which they're pretty plentiful between all the different A through I, J, who knows how many different 20 backs there are. But I have a 21 back A R5 D4, but I don't have one with that free Boba Fett offer on the front. So that one is definitely a goal list item for next year. So we'll see if that happens. Again, excuse my voice. I'm very, very, very sick. Next up was a mint and sealed box micro collection Hoth World playset, and this one has all the different micro collections inside the big box. This is an item I did get, I think, for Christmas or for my birthday when I was a kid. So I had all of these as a child, and this was an awesome set. AFA 80 plus archival case, mint and sealed box, and I had this one in my what to buy video. I had no idea what it was going to sell for, but it sold for a lot of money. $1,050 on 45 bids. So big money on that one. Beautiful example though. And there's the label on that. Micro collection Hoth World AFA 80 plus. So wow, big number on that. Next up was a free coin offer, Empire Strikes Back 45 back Greedo. This is an item that usually you don't see Empire Strikes Back cards with the free coin offer. So pretty unique item. It wasn't in perfect shape by any means, but pretty good shape. Clear blister, and probably 75 grade, maybe a low 80 if you're lucky. That one sold for $158.27. So I don't know what happened there. It says punched with small crease on right edge, bubble ding in the upper right edge. Seal is 100% intact. Beautiful example. So I'm surprised it sold that low. To me, I was expecting kind of $350 to $400. So $158.27 on that, I think, was a really good buy. Next up, here is the vehicle that I wanted to show you. This is a mint and seal box AT-AT on the Empire Strikes Back packaging. It was fully sealed, but obviously it had quite a bit of wear. This is probably like a 60 grade at best, but still, it's the Empire Strikes Back packaging for the AT-AT mint and seal box. So here are the seals on it, so you can see that it's fully sealed there. It did have some writing right there on the side there, so maybe it's precluded from being graded, but a pretty awesome display piece if you're into collecting something for your shelves and you have the room for it. But that one did sell for $762.58 plus $50 shipping, so about $810, $820. Pretty cool though to see that one sell. Next up was a Toy Tony. I was surprised by this final sales price. This is one I do have in my collection. It is a Toy Tony, and this is the General Mills German card back for Bosk. And you can see the back there with the German writing. A little bit of card wave to it, but it was graded AFA 85. Obviously, this one passed muster with the grading companies before they caught on to the whole Toy Tony scandal. And I bought mine on Facebook in the Deal or No Deal group. And this one sold for 621 pounds, which is $778. So that's a lot of money to me. I was expecting kind of $500 to $550. I don't remember what I paid for mine. I think I paid $525, somewhere in that ballpark. It might have been $475 plus shipping, somewhere in that ballpark. It was about a year ago, but mine was a UKG 90, and obviously it passed muster with UKG prior to the scandal as well. But pretty interesting to see that one sell that high, 621 pounds, which again is $778. Next up was that Luke Hoth debut card, clear blister, AFA 75 plus with an archival case. The card got an 85, blister 85, figure 75. So that one did sell for $657. I was surprised because when I did the what to buy video, it had no bids on it. And I was like, why is nobody bidding on this? This is a really awesome item, partially unpunched with a price sticker. And debut card, clear blister. I mean, to me, it's worth every penny of $657. There was an AFA 80 example that sold on Hakes. I think it was sometime earlier this year for in the $1,100 range, $1,100-$1,200, somewhere in that ballpark. So $657 for an AFA 75 plus, I think was a great buy. Really good deal there. Next up was an AFA 75, same card back, the 47 back free 4-lom offer for Boba Fett, unpunched example, beautiful. And the card was 75, blister 80, figure 75. So again, this is a case where that Boba Fett had degraded inside the ESB blister. Only one bid though, $19.99 was the final sales price on that one, $2,000 plus $720 shipping. So pretty good buy on that one. Next up, we got some Return of the Jedi related items, and we're going to start off with a big boy. This is the Revenge of the Jedi proof for IG88, and I had this one in my what to buy video. It was an AFA 80 plus. And, you know, these proof cards tend to command big money, and this one was no exception. I thought this price was very fair, though. This one sold for $14.03. AFA 85 examples for this exact same item can set you back over $2,000. So I think given that it was a little bit lower grade at 80 plus, $14.03 I think was a very fair price. So good deal on that one. Same seller also had an AFA 80 plus 65 back A Jawa. This one did unfortunately have that ugly Toys R Us price sticker in the upper left, but it was an unpunched example, clear blister, beautiful, beautiful Jawa, and that one sold for $482. Again, I think that price was fair. I mean, if you can live with that Toys R Us price sticker, and I know that some of you don't particularly like that. I think for the right item, I'm okay with it. I've got a few in my collection that have that Toys R Us price sticker, but at the end of the day, a lot of these items did survive from Toys R Us, and you're going to have to deal with the price sticker. There are companies that do take off, or experts that take off these stickers gently without using any chemicals. I've never done it myself, but a friend of mine did do it with a Meccano rectangle card, Luke Farm Boy, if memory serves, and I think he got charged a couple $100 for it. And it did pass muster with AFA after that. But it's not something I would do. I wouldn't risk it. I would just live with it. But I can understand the appeal to maybe try to remove that card or remove that sticker if you can. So $482.62 took that home. All right, now here's one I got to talk about, because as you guys know, if you're a longtime channel watcher, you know that one of the items on my goal list for this year was a R5D4 clear blister Return of the Jedi card, and this one came up, and I was the first bidder on it, and I was super hot and heavy. I was excited about it. I was panting. I was like, yes, I'm finally going to get an R5D4 on a Return of the Jedi card with a clear blister. This is the 65 back B. Here's the back of the card. So I bid on it. The starting bid was $200, and then I started digging into the photos, and in all fairness, the seller was great. He responded immediately to my questions, but one of the photos gave me pause, and I'm going to show it to you right here, if I can find it. Here it is. So right here, it just looks like it's a slight scratch on the card back. But when you start zooming in, right in here, you can see that there is writing on the card, unfortunately. So it's got some numbers or some kind of ink marks or pencil marks or something like that. So I reached out to the seller, and I said, hey, are those scratches or are those ink marks? Because to me, it looks like somebody actually wrote in and tried to fill in the litho tears on the card. And the seller, to his credit, did say, yes, I think it is ink. It is ink. And he did update the listing and said, shows scrapes, scratches, and abrasions. Some of the abrasions appear to be lightly re-inked in spots or marked with a marker. Please consider this when bidding. So I thought that was great that the seller was so upfront about that. So I didn't bid, unfortunately. So because, you know, if it's got ink or touch up, you can't get it graded. I think otherwise it probably would have gotten a low 80. The blister was in great shape. I mean, it's a real shame. It had some very light creases to it, but I was very disappointed because this is one I've been looking for forever. So I had to let it go. It's still sold, even with that disclosure. It's still sold for $335. So chances are I'm going to have to drop over $500, I think, if I'm going to try and get a, probably a 65 back or a 48 back transition card R5D4 with a clear blister, because after that fact, the 77 backs always yellowed every time. I've never seen a clear blister 77 back R5D4 at all, unfortunately. So 335 took that home. Another one, here's a 65 back B Vader, graded CAS 85. This one sold for 1010. A lot of money on that one. Unpunched example, beautiful. And it did sell for over $1,000. So even Return of the Jedi cards for Darth Vader, when they got clear blisters, you're going to be paying a lot of money for it. But 1010 did sell. Here was a 65 back B Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, unpunched example, very heavily yellowed, but it was graded 80 plus by CAS. 85, 80, 90 were the sub scores. So very, very high sub scores on that one. 65 back B Vader, Luke Skywalker Jedi. That one sold for $575. But this one I thought was a really good deal. This one was a 77 back Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight, and it had a clear blister. So that was a stunner, and that was tempting. It did have a little crease in the kind of mid-right section. It was a punched example, but that one was tempting. That one was really tempting. It's tough to find a 65 back. I mean, it's not as tough as a 77 back to get a clear blister, but a 65 back Hong Kong. I was speaking with Scott T, and he mentioned that most of the 65 backs are Taiwan's. It was labeled as a 77 back, but it was a 65 back B. It was labeled as that in the auction. But anyway, beautiful example, 65 back B, Hong Kong, Luke Jedi, clear blister, and that one sold for $465, which I thought was a very fair deal. Next up was an IG-88. This one was on the 77 back A, graded yellowed 80 by UKG, unpunched example. That one sold for $212.50. I think if this one had managed to be somehow a clear blister 77 back IG-88, probably easily double that price, if not close to 2.5 times easily, in my opinion. But that yellow blister IG-88 did sell for $212.50 plus $15 shipping. Here was a beauty. This one was the 77 back Luke Skywalker with the alternate gunner image. Pretty nice example. That one sold for $16.50. So big money for that alternate image Luke Skywalker. Wow, that's a big number. Next up was a Palatoy Tri-Logo Imperial Gunner. This one was unpunched. It wasn't graded. It just had a sliding acrylic case, but overall really great shape. Just some light dings to the blister, but probably an overall 80 grade is my guess on that one. That one sold in a buy it now situation for 600 pounds, which is 751 US dollars. Likewise, here's another Imperial Gunner. This was a yellowed punched example for the Power of the Force card. This one sold in an auction for $390. To me, that price seems pretty fair, just given how clean the card was. Obviously heavily yellowed, but no cracks on the blister, and the card was in fantastic shape. This was another infamous KB Toys price sticker, $1.99 markdown. So $390, 39 bids on that one. And then finally, we had a yellowed blister AFA 75 plus R2D2 pop-up lightsaber, unpunched with a little bit of litho damage in the upper right-hand corner, probably from where the KB Toys price sticker was removed, but still a stunner of an example of a last 17 R2D2 pop-up saber. You can tell I still got R5D4 on the mind. I really wish I could find that. If any of you guys see an R5D4 clear blister Return of the Jedi and you're not going to bid on it yourself, please message me, because that's what I'm looking for. This one, the card got a 75 blister 80 figure 85, and that one sold in an auction for $1,247 plus $8 shipping. 64 bids on that one, so lots of action. This one was from Brian's Toys. So wow, some pretty incredible items in this batch. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm sorry about all the coughing and sniffling through this video, but I'm trying to get better. But it's been a rough couple of days. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please consider subscribing, and I'll be back soon.